Buonasera. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for coming. My special thanks to Chiara Pendino, Mayor of Torino, for being with us this evening. Today is a very special day for me and for this place, a place that has always been, since it was first created, a sort of home to us. We are here to open a new chapter, a new life for these spaces, so rich in history, memories, and meaning. Lingotto is a magical place, a highly symbolic place. It has always been, both in concrete terms and in our imagination, a vibrant and exciting place where minds come together. I am thinking about the meetings of industry and culture, of work and passion, and especially of past and future. Lingotto has always been a symbol of Italian industrialization. Its very inception was an act of innovation. The brainchild of my great-great-grandfather, Senator Giovanni Agnelli, in 1915, it transformed a rural area that the locals called Lingotto into a manufacturing district. And Lingotto became the home of Fiat. By the time the last Lancia Delta rolled off the assembly line in 1982, it had put 1.5 million cars on the road. Lingotto was a giant leap into the future. In terms of its architecture, too, it was conceived to represent the speed of the automobile and the dynamism of mass production. Its awesome dimensions fully captured Italy's yen for modernity in those years. But there's more than industry here. Lingotto has also become a steward of art. Renzo Piano has re-envisioned the immense building as a facility at the service of the city of Torino. He put a treasure chest on the roof, Lo Scrigno, and it indeed contains a treasure, the art collection of the Giovanni and Marella Agnelli Foundation, established to share the joy of art with the entire city. Preserving beauty so it could be enjoyed by all was their way of saying thank you. The Pinacoteca embodies the idea of ongoing renewal and growth, conserving beauty and tradition, bringing them together in a positive and courageous vision for the future. This is the legacy we want to carry forward. Now, this beating heart of Italian industry has become a park, engaged in dialogue with the art of our time and with the challenges we now face, not least among them, the environment. A park is a living, breathing thing, and that's how we see it. A magnificent hanging garden where the test track will return to life for electric cars. The new Lingotto will be a special place filled with families, children, people of all ages coming together here to take part in this new way of looking at things and at the world. This transformation will be guided by a protagonist, the Cinquecento, symbol of Italian recovery and rebirth. The Casa Cinquecento is a museum dedicated to the symbol of the Made in Italy, an unfailing icon of design and style. Casa Cinquecento retraces its metamorphosis through 3 generations and gives its rightful place in our history and culture. We like to think that these new beginnings reconnect Lingotto with its original identity. Take it back to where it all started. And as we go full circle, we find all the elements of history, tradition, and innovation in a new, more inclusive, and more environmentally conscious vision of our world. It is a point of arrival, but also a new beginning. I would like to underscore that this new life can only be sustainable if it is connected with the local area and the local community. Today, a place is born that gives new life to Giovanni Agnelli's great passions: art, automobiles, and nature. I think it would have made him very happy. With the new Pinacoteca, the Casa Cinquecento, and the Pista Cinquecento, Lingotto is tracing out a new future for all of us, a more conscious, more sustainable future, in constant dialogue with art and the environment. I would like to thank Benedetto Camerana and Cristiana Ruspa for having transformed the track into this wonderful garden. I thank Marcella Pralormo for her support as director of the Pinacoteca. Thanks also to the people who have contributed to this project, whose work has made it possible for us to be here today and unveil it to the world. In particular, Cristiano Fiorio and Alberto Certani. And finally, my heartfelt thanks goes to Olivier Francois for his boundless energy, keen vision, and unfailing determination to make this project a reality. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Ginevra. Thank you. And well, I agree with you. Casa Cinquecento is much more than just a car museum. Like you said, we are not just talking about a car. We are talking about culture and history. We are talking about the country and the city. But I promise, tonight will not be an exercise in nostalgia. No, tonight will be about taking our DNA forward, planting the seeds of our future. So speaking of seeds, as you have seen, we're using the metaphor of a tree. And what I want to do with you tonight is climb this tree virtually. So the roots, the foliage, and finally the fruit. So the roots, a country, a city, culture, and history. And Casa Cinquecento is here to encapsulate all of that. Which, by the way, is good for our business. You know, when you cut a check for a 500 electric, you don't just buy tangibles. You also buy tons of intangibles. Well, Casa Cinquecento is here because of that. It is the house of all these intangibles. It is here to help our customers realize that the car they drive is not only made in Italy, but made of Italy. And many intangibles means many stories, means many rooms. So you'll find one room dedicated to the story of the people who created Cinquecento. Another room that speaks to our Torino roots. And one that shows how 500 became a pop icon, how it brought a feeling of emancipation in the 50s and the 60s, and why its comeback in 2007 was loved by so many. And last, there is a room dedicated to Italian design, to the objects like Cinquecento that became icons of their times, functional things that touched people's imagination and improved their daily lives. And throughout the whole space, you'll notice how Italian creativity can make sustainability beautiful. In fact, as you see on the slide, everything in Casa Cinquecento reduces, recycles, and reuses. So now, after the roots, what comes next? Well, look around you. We are surrounded by foliage. As I said before, we have turned this iconic test track into the largest hanging garden in Europe. And to Ginevra's point, we call it La Pista Cinquecento. So if Casa Cinquecento is our home, La Pista is our garden. Look, there's something very symbolic about turning the roof of a factory into a garden in the sky. First, you have a place of old pollution that becomes a breathing space for our home city. Then you have a very private, not to say secret, test track that is now open to everyone. And you have a temple of hard work now dedicated to free time, chilling out, and culture. And by the way, what matters here is not just a garden. That's very important. It's a combination of garden and track, because it shows how mobility and nature can work hand in hand. You see, with New 500 and with La Pista, we want to inspire a most sustainable way of living. And by the way, not just sustainable, but magical too. I mean, the plants you are going to see here are pretty special. First, we are on a roof, so we pick the ones that are able to live in shallow soil, resist the high winds that you have here, and have very low water requirement, kind of superhero plants. Second, we selected the ones that are best at absorbing CO2. Like this one, it's called the smoke tree. Well, for a tree that actually cleans the air, I think it's very appropriate. And third, besides absorbing CO2, these plants have other superpowers. Some are great nutrition for the body, you can actually eat them. Other help meditation, so that's nutrition for the mind, somehow. And of course, a garden is a place of constant change. So this one, like every new garden, will change with the seasons and grow more beautiful year after year. What you see tonight is a garden that's still very, very young. So keep that in mind when you visit it later. So there is a lot to learn about, and the whole layout has been designed for children to play and learn, and that's a special program run by Ginevra and her team. And you see, this is really the beauty of this association with Pinacoteca Agnelli. They can do things we couldn't do. And there is actually another example here. As you will see on your way out, there are art installations all around. They were borrowed from the Fondation Megd for us, for the people of Torino, really. So thank you, Ginevra. Thank you, Marcella. This is absolutely amazing. I really love it, you know, because this is more proof that what we promote here is more than just a car. It's care, it's community, it's culture. And it comes with a conviction. It's only green when it's green for all. This is our DNA. Shifting the paradigm of sustainability for the few to sustainability for all. Just like my friend Stefano Boeri. By the way, welcome Stefano. He's doing the same thing around the world, which is why he's the first architect we are hosting in our space for visiting exhibitors just over there at Casa Cinquecento. You'll see that later. Now, if I may, tonight we also shift another paradigm. I mean, marketing, events. You all know this, no? Our launch events for us in the automotive industry especially, it's all about the big splash, a quick media return. Now, in a nutshell, the flash in the pan. But sustainability is not about the flash in the pan. It's about making things last. So today, instead of burning our marketing budget over one night, we're using it to seed something that will grow and remain for the people of the city. So from October, this place will be open to everyone. And here is the key. So Chiara, would you mind to join me on stage, please? Because I want to hand this key over to you as our mayor, Chiara Pendino.
Thank you.
What a pleasure. Thank you for this opportunity. So this is yours now.
Well, thank you. The city will really appreciate. Actually, they're very excited because they already knew that this event would have happened. And Your messages are the messages of the city, so we just want to thank you, thank everybody that has worked on this wonderful project, and we are very, very proud that this becomes, again, another part of our city in a different way that's looking to the future. So thank you.
Thank you, Chiara. This is yours. And actually, this is the original key of the old factory. The original key. So this is somehow a way to say welcome to all the people of our city, you see.
Thank you.
Older, younger, and yet to come, by the way. Congratulations. So you see, Chiara, a couple years ago, no, I think it was probably a couple years ago in your office, we talked about the bond, between Fiat and Torino. That's very, very important. So today, with Casa Cinquecento and La Pista Cinquecento, we just completed a whole ecosystem. Step one, the new 500 is back home. It's in a reborn Mirafiori, the real E-plant with its solar-powered vehicle-to-grid system. Step two, we opened the E-village just next door at Green P, at my friend Oscar Farinetti. It's the first department store totally dedicated to sustainability for our friends coming from abroad. Go visit it, it's absolutely stunning. Step three, you have Casa Cinquecento, a new landmark for the city. And now, step four, you have this new garden in the sky to let the world see Torino in a new light. So now, let's move on to the last chapter of the evening. So it's late September, so it's time for a new fruit. And this one is a beautiful red fruit. Look, colors are incredibly important for 500. And actually, when we launched the new electric model, people noticed that an old favorite was missing, red. And look, there was a reason for it. Our whole palette is inspired by nature. So you have earth, with all a palette of earthy colors. You have air, you have water, but right, we did not have fire. No red, no orange, no yellow. And you know why? Because fire means combustion, and combustion means pollution. But luckily, a year ago or so, I met someone who gives a different meaning to red, a more positive, more ethical meaning. So I'm sure that most of you have heard about the RED organization. Big capital letter RED. They work to protect people from AIDS and now also from COVID. Now, if you're not familiar with the organization, I bet you are with their products. I mean, the red iPhone, everyone knows that. The red masks, they are everywhere because red turns everything into gold. Phones, watches, sneakers, everything. Everything, almost everything, because so far, no cars. So tonight, we are going to change that. And I'm incredibly proud to launch the first red car. A red paint that is not just a color, but is a message. The message is ethics and aesthetics going hand in hand. It's red like in reduce emissions, reduce pollution, reduce health emergencies. We are trying to move in that ethical direction more and more with our products, with events like this one, with everything we do. So here is the 500 Red, the first fruit of the new partnership between Red and Fiat. You see, finally we have a red color that is not about burning carbon or marketing money. No, it's about a burning ambition, protecting both planet and people. So let's see that ambition in a short video. So after all that rain last week, after the dark clouds of 2020, it's a beautiful day. And I have a surprise for you. Please welcome the founder of Red, our dear friend, Bono.
Grazie.
Dear Bono, benvenuto.
Thank you very much.
Come here, let me tell you, we're so excited to have you here in Torino. Welcome, my friend.
How are you doing? Co-founder. Bobby Shriver was the other person to credit or blame.
Yes, we all think of Bobby.
Yeah.
So we just saw the car. So let's get into Red. You created Red to bring companies like ours into the fights.
Yes.
AIDS, pandemics. So can you remind us why you did it, and perhaps tell us about the journey and the results?
Well, grazie. Grazie Olivier, grazie Ginevra, grazie John, grazie di Cormo, Core, it is extraordinary to be at top of this sublime and storied building, Garden of the Future, racetrack. But I must tell you that there's something ironic about me being here, because as anybody who knows me, friends, family, no one I know will get into a car with me. And, you know, my wife will not get into a car with me. If her arms were broken, she would not let me drive. As rock stars, you know, you're treated like small children and, you know, put in the back of limos and taxis and vans and buses. In fact, even sometimes when I get home from tour, I've got out of in my own house and got into the back of my own car. So I have an unusual relationship with cars. But I want you to know, and this is not a professional compliment, I love this company. My father drove a Fiat. My first car was a Fiat. I crashed it. I totaled it, actually. My next car will be this Fiat. It's not a professional compliment. I love the stories. I love the history of this great company. And yeah, it's very romantic for me, this sexy, smart tangle of ideas and innovation that we call the cinquecento. Just saying it is, you know, gives me a thrill.
And with this, you just made the day of thousands of people here. You know that, huh? Well, the whole city now. The bells, the churches.
Yeah, I thought, yes. Thank you, God. I'll be on better behavior. Yeah, but I'm here, you know, as well as to talk about a great company. I'm not just here to sell a remarkable red car. I'm here to sell an idea that, you know, unless this pandemic is defeated everywhere, no one is safe anywhere. And we need the help of you as a storyteller, Olivier, and your company to get this story out, because I'm not sure it's clear that people realize that it's not an act of charity to get vaccines to people who live on the other side of the world. It's enlightened self-interest. For me, I will make the moral argument, but you don't have to. If you're looking after people's children or mothers, you know, thousands and thousands of miles away, you're looking after your own. So that's really why I'm here, and sort of in the slipstream of your great car.
This is absolutely great, and I have to agree. I mean, you know, for us, this partnership is almost very self-serving. It's not just idealistic.
No.
Really, the Fiat, if you think of it, is totally linked to the concept of the Dolce Vita.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's as you yourself said about the 500. You say it's warm, it's sexy, it's playful, it's Italian, it's red by nature, and there is no Dolce Vita with pandemic.
No.
So that's exactly what we need to do together: defeat the pandemic, this one, and the one to come, because this is going to help Fiat, generally speaking, and the cinquecento, specifically.
Well, we're the pandemic people. We're the global health fire brigade. That's part of it anyway. And Bobby and I started Red 15 years ago to fight pandemic called HIV/AIDS. We thought there was something upsetting that an accident of geography, you know, that where you live would decide whether you lived, you know, your address. And 15 years later, we're still fighting that pandemic and this other tiny little virus, COVID-19. And it is amazing to me that we're still arguing about it like it's charity, as I say. It's not at all.
It's not at all.
This is it is empirically true to say that you cannot defeat this virus anywhere, you know, if you don't defeat it everywhere.
I totally agree. I mean, this is a very good business decision, maybe the best business decision we made it in years, because you know, one day I was making a keynote in a Nobel Peace Nobel Summit in Chicago, and the idea was, what was a car guy doing in a Peace Nobel Summit in Chicago? And I said, you know, why wouldn't peace and prosperity be part of the corporation's business plans? Because we cannot sell without peace and prosperity. And the same applies to pandemics. So we need to defeat that pandemic, and red is all about filling that gap.
Red is the color of emergency. We named it red because the virus was transmitted through the blood. Jen Latito there leads us into battle every day in our team in New York and around the world. But any of you who are interested in brands, and this is an extraordinary story. I'm not kissing the Fiat ass here. Great brands have always an emotional component. The great brands always have an emotional component, and this company gave people jobs at the end of the war. You built this company out of the rubble of the Second World War, gave people jobs, which was to give life, you know. That's a very emotional story, I think. The industry, Ginevra was talking about the rebuild, was that it, after the war?
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's a privilege to be able to help in this way. And, you know, you have this pioneering company, you know, determined now, committed now to help drive this pandemic, drive it off the planet, and, you know, not even use petrol. It's a, you know, you're sort of going green on the way to going red. It's cool.
Absolutely. No, we really want our little car to be a vehicle for your message and your action. And I think we were really your message was incredibly clear. We need to be. You asked us to be not just a vehicle, by the way. Remember your words. You wanted us to be an accelerator. And by the way, I'll let you in on a secret. Bono himself suggested we make even the pedal red. So you'll see the car. The pedal is red because we want to be an accelerator. And to go one up, we came back with a red driver's seat. I don't know if you noticed on the video, but you'll see the car live. So this is a crazy idea. There's one seat that's red in a black car, and that's a driver's seat. And I personally love it because these interiors say something. They say we are not powerless. We can all do something. We can all drive change.
Drive change, I like that. I like the driving
Actually,
of change. Yeah.
It's official now. So you see, this is why I hope to sell, and let me be totally blunt. I hope to sell as many as I can. And to do that, I need to explain them a little bit how we position the car. So we position it in the heart of our lineup. You know, it could have easily have been the top of the range, you know, a lot of glitz, but it's not. It is in the heart of our lineup, right between the more affordable version, which is mainly for the eco-conscious commuters, and the top versions, which we see a lot, that are for the status seekers. So in a nutshell, you have a little red car that makes you go green, as you just said, Bono. And I would add, it's in a white space, so which are very Italian colors, as you can see.
Yes.
So what about to wrap this, we show them our commercial?
I think that's a really good idea, and I think it's great that we're here in Italy as well as just in Turin, because with the coronavirus, the whole world got to see who you were. You know, you were the tip of the spear in taking on the virus here in Italy, and we learned from you as you learned, and you were as unprepared for it as the rest of the world. But because as you prepared, you helped us prepare. And, you know, the only thing that wasn't in short supply was the spirit, the charisma of the Italian people, the singing, and across the rooftops, which is not corny. It was really cool and moving. And the whole world discovered, again, that the spirit of this country. I've known it, but as a singer, I was very humbled. You know, no tenor, no opera singer, no rock singer, nobody can touch the voices that are singing from that place. You know, defiance, actually. It was defiance, people singing across rooftops, and it was very moving. So, but sure, go into the commercial.
So that was your brief, I must say, and Ginevra was amazing, you know, helping us bring the brief to life. So what you're about to see is literally this collective work between the Fiat team and the Red team in every detail. So fun, by the way. Let's run it.
Question: how many people can such a small car carry? Like 1? Sure. 2? Obvious. 3? How about 4, 5, or even 6? Try 7,890,000,000 people. Yes, this tiny family car can carry us all to a better future. The new 500 Red, made for the planet, made for its people. It's electric to care for the earth. It's red to fight pandemics. Now, take your seat to a better world.
Bravo.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Fiat, and all of you who support it. Really, really something. Thank you. Bless you. Oh, have I one question for you?
Go.
Oh, should I ask you? I mean, just... No, I haven't. You've spoken very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Bono. Thank you very much. Thank you again. That's really an amazing opportunity you gave me, including the fact that I'm now speaking with 2 mics. So with only one mic, let me close this with one last thought. So this month happens to be my 10th anniversary at the helm of Fiat. I was just sharing this counting of the years with John earlier. Really the 10 toughest, most exciting and also most challenging years I could imagine. I wanted, Fiat to stay in the big league. I wanted Fiat to stay close to people's hearts. Well, we didn't always have all the resources in the world to do that, but my team rose to the challenge. And look, Fiat today is the #1 volume brand of Stellantis, with already 1 million cars sold so far in 2021. Fiat is a... Thank you. Fiat is an absolute market leader in Italy, in Turkey, and in Brazil. And Fiat is also a segment leader across continents. So it's a leader in city cars in Europe, as we all know. It's a leader in small pickups in Latin America, and a major player in family movers in many places, such as the Middle East. You see, we have grown strong by interpreting people's real needs wherever they are. And now we do the same with electric cars. In fact, the new 500 is already the leading electric city car in Europe. And as you see on the slide, it's on its way to becoming the first global all-in, all-electric, only electric city car. So you see, Fiat is a little bit like the plants around us. It still has an enormous potential for growth. And this is what we are doing here tonight, planting the seeds of our future. Trust me, with Stellantis, we finally have a financial and technical powerhouse that will allow Fiat to change gear at a global level. So from 2023, we will produce at least one new model every year. One new model every year. And each model will have a fully electric version. In other words, for Fiat, the future is charging up. And our growth as a global brand will be fueled by two things: respect for the planet and caring for our roots. And on that thought, I couldn't be more excited to hand it over to our chairman for the closing remarks. Thank you.
Gentlemen, good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining us tonight. I offer a special thank you to Bono, who is honoring Turin with his presence for the 5th memorable time over an almost 30-year span. After 4 unforgettable concerts here in our city that inspired generations to hope and fight for a better world. Many of us here tonight probably remember the historic performance in 2001 at the Delle Alpi Stadium. Bono returns to Turin for another very special project, which we heard Olivier and him tell us about, and we're very grateful for it. And for you, we have a beautiful day. It's a sign of hope, a kind of rebirth that, for the first time after so many extremely challenging months, we can meet in person again, while still following the best practices to keep everyone safe. Today's event holds a great deal of significance for me personally and for Stellantis, for two main reasons. The first is the watchword of our times, transformation. As my sister Ginevra and Olivier have noted, the place we are gathering in tonight is one of the best examples of the type of evolution that is defining our organization. The Lingotto building was avant-garde, influential, and impressive since its very beginning, with a futuristic design and its unique rooftop test track that set new standard, both architecturally and in terms of car production. Over the years, this building has transformed itself several times, becoming a place to meet, exchange ideas and perspectives, and develop cultural initiatives, always keeping its identity and audacity. Today, transformed and reinvented once again, also through the emotions and optimism that only art and nature can infuse. Lingotto reaffirms its original vocation to innovate and amaze, and become a symbol of a city committed to build a sustainable future. This is the Turin I have experienced, where I decided to live with my family, and the one I hope the next generations will get to know and appreciate. At Stellantis, we are transforming ourselves along the same lines, keeping in mind where we come from, while looking far into the future. Leading the way the world moves, as stated in our purpose. This is possible because Stellantis was born with the courageous and visionary spirit of our founding fathers in order to seize the huge opportunity of this century, the 21st century. It was born to imagine mobility as we know it and shape the future of transportation with innovative and sustainable products and services. Every day, Stellantis employees are committed to support our environment, the next generation's quality of life and freedom to move, contributing to a decarbonized economy by engaging our company on the path to carbon neutrality. We can already see examples of this happening. Our electrification strategy, with more than 30 billion of investments in the next 5 years. Our ambition goals of having all our nameplates with electrified options within this decade. Delivering state-of-the-art global electrified vehicles. We already have 23, and we're aiming to go to 29 by the end of the year. Offering the widest range of electric vehicles in the B segment in Europe. And Fiat 500 is a great example of it. Launching 3 new hydrogen fuel cell vans in the European markets with our brands Peugeot, Citroën and Opel. Piloting not far from here in Mirafiori, the vehicle-to-grid project, the largest of its kind in the world. And partnering to create ACC, our battery company, who is going to be one of the leading battery companies in the world. While all of this is happening, and these are some examples of how we are building a new future, I want to reinforce our determination to play a leading role in this new era, and how important it is to allow freedom of movement that we have learned to value even more in the latest years. This is the true meaning of the seeds we are planting today. The second reason why this initiative is important, personally, is the relationship with Turin and the relationship with Italy. Torino is a city where the streets do have names. Not only do they celebrate the achievements of the past, they also push us to always be up to the task and be ambitious. When my grandfather decided to build the Pinacoteca Agnelli gallery and its iconic scrigno, he wanted to do something for his city that would last for its citizens and its visitors. Today, we have the pleasure of following that example, creating the highest extending hanging garden in Europe and opening a new museum dedicated to the Cinquecento, the best loved cars in Fiat history, the icon that made Italian into car owners, a worldwide ambassador for our country, Italy. And delivering all this to the Torinesi is just another tribute to the city and its community. Lingotto will keep the legacy of the Cinquecento and the incredible journey it has traveled so far. But the journey of Cinquecento continues today, from Torino, where the full electric model is being built, not far, in Mirafiori, a few kilometers from here. Stellantis has invested in this city 2 billion euros to produce full electric and hybrid cars, together with innovative projects such as the smart grid, recharging infrastructure, a clear and important sign that we believe not only in all the women and men who work here, but also in the entire automotive district, which is one of the strengths of our city. In addition to our business investments, my family has supported a number of significant initiatives which reflect our social commitment, particularly to education. Just to mention a couple of projects which are not far from here. 20 years ago, we established together with the Engineering School of Torino the Bachelor in Automotive Engineer. This successful program, who has been renewed and expanded over the years, has helped many young talent to develop their skills and shape the future of cars. O Torino fa scuola, which was promoted with the Compagnia San Paolo just a few hundred meters over there, which is a school, the Fermi Junior Secondary High School, which has been transformed into a state-of-the-art educational building and has offered the entire Italian school system new ideas to renovate learning environments and favor more modern and innovative didactic methods. Our social focus, together with our commitment to support our environment and promote diversity and inclusions, are all part of our ambition on making sure we're striving not only for our growth objectives, but to make sure that we contribute for the future and sustainable development practices. The responsibility is an essential part of the makeup of our company, and we intend to distinguish ourselves not only for the products we do, the quality of what we do for our customers, but our commitment to make sure that we take very seriously, as today we discussed, the challenges we have ahead. I strongly believe we have put in place many of the elements needed to make Stellantis a great company, aligned with its purpose, powered by our diversity. We want to lead the way the world moves. Grazie. Grazie to all of you. Grazie to our mayor. Grazie to Ginevra. Grazie to Olivier for having allowed with all the many people involved what is happening today. Grazie Bono. And we very much look forward for you to now having the opportunity of actually visiting the Casa Cinquecento, the Pista Cinquecento, and having a good time this evening. Thank you very much.
And dear all, thank you very much for coming also from my side. I will kindly ask you to remain seated because we're going to respect the COVID measures and the security protocol. So I would like to invite the first group to leave the platform, and then I will just ask you again to move further. So thank you.